Hello and welcome to Stream Tabulous. So I get asked a lot on, can you do a video on how to restore a photo from front to end using something like Krita with its AI diffusion? And I say it's not as quick and easy as people think. It is time consuming. So this may not be a short video. You know how to use the fast forward feature of YouTube. So if I'm blabbering away or if it's too slow, feel free to skip forward. You don't have to leave nasty comments on that in the comments of that sort of thing. You know how to use YouTube. This is should be ad free. If it's not ad free on your YouTube, you can use your Origin ad blocker, which is absolutely free. And there's another YouTube blocker called Sponsor Block as well. Because I am not monetized, I do not get paid for this. It is completely free, and I do it out of my own goodwill to teach you guys and, hopefully just help people out. So keep that in mind, because yeah, a lot of people say, "Oh, edit it, make it shorter." Da 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 da. They think I'm stretching it out for ads for money. You shouldn't be getting ads. I have that turned off. I have heard the ads pop up, which is wrong of YouTube when I've said, "Look, don't put ads on my video." But maybe they do it for the storage space to pay for the storages of my video. So that's something to keep in mind. It's up to you. You're the ones watching the video. You can choose to do whatever you like with that sort of thing. So we'll go over to the intro and then I'll show you how I do some restorations. Okay, so we're going to take this photo and we're going to take a look at doing a restoration with it using the AI tool to aid us in restoring the photo. Now, I've done photos where I get told, use if you used PaintShop Pro or Photoshop and just spent 2 hours on it, you'd get a better result than you did using AI. I mean, for anyone that knows me, I've been doing photo restorations for an extraordinarily long time. My disability has made it less for me to be able to do. But generally, some of the ones I've worked on, like in this sort of condition, it's taken me 4 to 8 days to do. And that's to get really good quality too. So yeah, and when you click their profiles, I mean, honestly, they've never done a restoration in their life because they haven't contributed, they haven't done any. You can click on someone's profile and see what they've done in the group, and or search their name. And when you search their name in a group, it will come up with what they've commented on, so you can see posts, and then you can click that post, scroll down, find them, and you see that they actually haven't done anything in a group. So yeah, it'd be nice to see people put their money where the mouth is, so to speak. Cosmic sent me this, so this is going to make life a lot easier. It's old, but it works exceptionally well. So I've selected the color, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come through and just quickly paint up this background. So we're just going for a dirty cleanup. This type of AI is not going to work on a dirty image. It's going to have lots of imperfections if you do that. So you need to do the cleanup. It's so important to come through and do what you can to clean it up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the better result you do, the better the result you'll get when you do run AI. I call these donor images because generally you're not going to get a good face. I use Roop to try to get a good face in Automatic 11. I'll leave a link below to that. Roop and Automatic 11 with the modifications that are made to it to work with SDXL gives absolutely unbelievable results. Okay, so we're just going to come through and we're going to do this hair as well quickly. So let's come through there, select that. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I like that to be darker. that darkest, perfect, darkest spot of the hair. So, and I may skip forward on some of this to try to not bore you guys too much as well, because this does take a while. Pen makes it so much faster than what I used to do. I'm not worried about, whoops, I'm not worried too much about having flat color. This is the beauty when you're using AI than doing something completely manually. Something manually, you'd be coming through and drawing the individual strands of hair in. I actually like doing that on my phone. Like if I'm touching up an image, I'll generally come in and I'll just make the brush as tiny as possible so it's just a speck. And then I'll come through and just lightly like do brush lines like that. Come up. It's too dark. Drop the opacity down. Yeah, I'll just do that and I'll actually brush in each individual hair and I'll just sit there. I usually do that on phone with a stylist and I'll just sit there for hours on end doing hair. I just actually find it quite relaxing. So yeah, that's something you could do. Or if you want to know how to do it, that's how you do it. So then we're going to come in on the face here and we're going to come up, we're going to select our brush, I'm going to go to blend. If you're using Krita, you can search for your brushes as well. So you can go all and then you can search and type the word blend. I have mine set up to my favorites. So these are the ones that I generally use. I'll lean towards this airbrush because of the way it fans in, and I'll lean towards this Blender Basic brush. It's the smudge tool in Paint Shop Pro, and then you would drop its opacity down and play with its steps to get it to do the same sort of thing. Paint Shop Pro used to work really well for its blend tool, and then somewhere along the line they kind of broke it a bit, which is a bit sad. So we'll come through and we'll drop that down, get that brush size somewhere where I'm happy with, and then we're just going to follow the face's shape to paint all that in. I like the opacity to be lower. So it's like oil painting, where you're pushing the paints around on the palette. So that is what we're doing. We're following the contours and we're using the colors that are on the canvas to rebuild the face, which keeps our shadows and that there. We sometimes will have to adjust the size to play with that, bring it in. Generally, I'd repaint the eyes. I'd actually paint them in, but I'll probably end up doing that later. But we're gonna see how AI handles a lot of this. I do this because I got asked, how do you do this stuff? And I'm getting any younger. Disabilities are getting a lot worse. Stitches in the back at the moment, just not fun. A little bit of an op. Hopefully they get pulled out at the end of the week and hopefully the results come back okay. So I do this because I don't live forever. I think the key to the human race is not holding on to stuff that you learn. It's passing it on and letting other people know how to do it. And hopefully some of those people don't charge for the work that they do and do it for free, like I do, just to help others. I think that's important, helping others. Okay, we do want to come through and clean some of this up as well. Like I said, we're not going to worry too much about losing detail here because we're going to actually use the AI to hopefully restore some of that information. So we're basically using this as a guide to say to the AI, this is how it should look. Now, Krita's face tool is not the best, and the method in which it works doesn't work entirely the best. It's very hard to say, put the face back onto this photo. So I use Automatic 11 to do that sort of thing. I will leave a link in the video below, and Automatic 11 is free as well. And Automatic 11 is better than Krita's face swap. Oops. Still using a smudge. We want to paint. Remember to change that tool. There we go. And my DPI is insanely high. If you're playing a game, you can do a 360 by moving it a couple of millimeters. You might not know what that means. What it means is my mouse will go across the screen with about that much movement. And that's how I compensate for this completely broken arm, which limits the range of movement that I have. And if I do try to move it too much, it traps nerves and there's tissue and that in the arm, which isn't fun. The older I get, the worse it gets. Thank you, violent uncle. That's right. Got abused as a child by an uncle who I caught stealing, and he put my arm behind my back because I told my mother and permanently dislocated it, and the doctors cannot repair it. Been to the doctors and orthopedic surgeons multiple times and been in tears over it multiple times. Okay, so we have a clean reference. Now, we're going for a donor image. We're not worrying too much about the face here. What we want to do is I put it on a lightning model. First of all, we're going to just reduce this image size. So I'm going to scale it down. And this is just because of my graphics card. So we're going to try 900. We'll see if that's too big. A little bit too big. Probably get away with 800. 800 by 1000. My card can handle that. Now, I'm using OBS, so this does take a little bit longer than it normally would. We're going to bring that to probably 15% first, and we're going to give it a pass. So we're going to let that run, and we'll see what the result is. And what we're trying to do is just basically get the clothes and that refined. We're probably going to have to type in a description up here. Okay. So we can click that one off. So we're going to put up the top here. So we have 8K, sharp, high contrast, detailed, photo, high quality, female, long black hair, headband, shirt, arms folded. So we're describing this. We're going to come up here and we're going to adjust and we're going to go down to the levels and we're going to make this image darker. By darkening it up, significantly darkening it up, it brings out details, and AI looks for details. And then from that, we're going to hit refine, and we'll see what the difference is between the render A and render B. I'm not looking for face. We're looking for a donor image. So we're looking for an image that we can put that face back on after we're happy. And then we can see here, we're getting a lot better. Arms a little bit buggered, but that's okay. We have a great donor image. It's following exceptionally well for the lines on the face. We've got the hair, we've got the clothing. It's great. We're going to use that same photo and we're going to refine it a second time. So this image becomes the dominant layer, and the AI is now cleaning this image up. And sometimes it can overdo it. Sometimes we can get it to be nicer and cleaner, and we can get happier as we go along. So we just pick which one we want. Now, all these little marks here, the AI is picking up on. So we're going to need to go through and we're going to have to blend those out. So I'm going to bring that up because the AI sees that damage and it's putting it back every single time. So we have that as our layer. Going to bring that up. to the pen on this one. Off, come up here. I'm going to come to eraser. And I'm selecting this image. I've hidden these layers because I don't need those ones because I like this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring through the original eye. And I'm going to bring through the original eye here as well. I wonder, let me have a look at this. I'm wondering if I get that size lower. That top form of the eye. To give that shape back. Just here. Now these lips are distinctly different, so we'll have to go back to that one. I feel that tip of the nose is a bit different as well, so we'll go to the original nose. Okay, so we're getting the bleed through now, so that's great. So we'll take that back to 10%. Now when we're rendering this in, we're rendering and the AI is reading what you can physically see with the layers. So any hidden layer, it doesn't see. So we can go refine, and hopefully we can keep more of these eyes and mouth the way it is. That's why I've got it lower at 10%. But the clothing is fine. Oh, we're losing the mouth on that one. That's very interesting. Those eyes are kind of working, which is interesting. Look. No, they're a bit different. All right, let's lose that layer. Remove that layer. Drop it back to 5%. Refine the image. See what happens. Because we're trying to keep the face now as much as we can. There we go. These eyes are correct. I feel they're correct. There's a little bit of a whisk over here, and we can see that in the previous one. There's eyelashes. But, I mean, generally, if I selected that and I went down, you'd see that they line up perfectly. It's just the eyelashes that are looking different. And, of course, we can go in very easily onto that layer. Applied and open. And we can come through and we can select, say, there. And we can drop that down. Size right down. Go to that. Oh, a bit dark there. Drop that opacity down, drop that size down more if I can. No. You can see, oh, a bit hard on that tick. Right. That's okay. Because I want that tick there. We can just soften that off. Use the blend tool to soften it. And we get that tick coming through. Maybe a little bit more of a tick there. Come back up to our brush. Oh. I gotta get used to the pressure of that. We can just gently do that and put it back in. The mouth. Yeah, let's have a look. What can we do there? We're going to select this. We don't need this now, so I'll put the word smile. And we're just going to refine the mouth and see if we can get that mouth working by itself. If we can get a working mouth layer, then we can use that with the top layer. So we can actually select. There we go, that worked. Okay, so we can see that worked, it's cleaned it. And we can see that with our top layer, it works better than this one. Okay, so we have that. So now we have the mouth. And what we can do is duplicate that layer. I will hide that layer. I will merge down, so merge the layer below, which gives me that. And we'll take a look at it. Okay, and we can see that referencing nicely. The eyebrows are off, which is definitely making our person look different. So, I mean, we can have, drop that down, and we can see these two layers bleed through here. And it's wrinkles, lines, and skin tones that make the difference. And we can see that jaw will need a little bit of warping as well. So we have a slightly tighter jaw than the original. Whoops, don't want that, want normal. Okay, which is something to look at. That's something I want to point out as well. If we duplicate this layer here, and we bring that to the top, okay, so it's over top of it, we can come down and change this layer. So this is the original layer that we worked on, and we can change that into what I like is a easy burn layer or a burn layer. So we'll change that to an easy burn, and we can see those details are coming through. But what it's doing is, I'm just going to change that back to normal. Right, you see a lot of this damage sort of disappears because it's a transparent layer is what it's going to turn it into. So we come back up, we can go burn, and we can come down and go easy burn. Okay, now it's a translucent layer, and it's just adding those details back onto the image. And then we can turn that down, and we can use that to add details of the original image, which are these shadows and imperfections back onto it, which is what people are used to looking at. And we can also come down and we can see that there, and we can see these lines where they don't blend in, and we can take a look and go, okay, there's the original, it's out more. And then we can actually use that to correct the original image. So we go up to there, we want Blender Basic, come down, I'm going to use the pen. So you can see that brings it back to the outside. Might look a little bit weird, but that's okay, we're going to get there, don't worry about that. Okay, so we want one here, clean that up a bit. We're pushing it in so the images match up. Now, we turn it off, we have the original, and that's the same, but it's just the burn layer, so it's a color, and that applies to give us the details of the faces and the imperfections. It does put some back imperfections down there, but that's fine. And of course, I mean, you can merge those, and we'll just duplicate so we can keep these originals, duplicate. And then we're just going to get rid of that one, and I'll get rid of that one. Move that one down. And I haven't tried this one to see if it keeps the, it did. It kept the burn layer, so that's fantastic. Look at that. There we go. And we can see that matches. Do need to work on those eyebrows, that's okay. Now we can redefine this again, but what we might do is we're going to brighten this one up a little bit. We don't need it dark anymore. The AI has already done that, so we have that. So we can actually brighten our image up. Okay. So you just want to find that balance to where you want it to be. The tones and the contrasts. Like that. Make it black and white if you want to. And we can just do a redefine on that. So again, we can see our image is lining up. And we'll just redefine that at 5%, which is just an ever so light cleanup. Should have redone that. So what I should have done is copied the prompt. So this one might not work too well. Look. Oh no, it worked. So it probably cleaned up the face a little bit too much. But we're getting the clothing there, which is nice. So, I mean, you can go either or either. Depends what you want to do. You might like the person might like the cleaned up one, or might like the more original one. It's a tough call. So, I mean, we can do that. We can come up to that brush again. God, I remember to change my brushes. I get so confused on that. So many brushes. I'm just putting those eyes back through. I'm going to leave some of that cleaned up detail because I do like that. There we go. So it's cleaning the skin up, but I'm just keeping those eyes as were. Now, we did point out that eyebrows are wrong. So it's a tough one. Duplicate that. And I will unhide that. I'm going to come up. Want those eyebrows. Okay. Now this one, same thing. I'm using the multiple layers to make one image, and I'm picking what the best is because I am working to keep the face. Now, like I said, you can use Roop and you can put a face back on. Won't really get the eyebrows as they are. Okay. So then from here, it's just as simple as going back to your paint selection, because we might as well clean up some of that skin tone there. So we'll see how that goes. Go to our brush. It's going to very lightly paint in some of that skin tone. So I don't get shadows. Like if I give it another nice clean pass with AI, I'm just going to keep those shadows out of it. A lot lighter there. So I'm just using the a low opacity and the color just to blend that back in. Mouse. Because I'm not doing anything fine for neuromotor skills there. So we can just use the mouse. Just get that perfectly fine. Okay. We will do a bit of a blend. Just going to drop that opacity down. I don't want it to do a strong blend. Nice and low. Let's just bring in those two colors together. There. Just very lightly. You're probably not even able to see this. You have to have a really fine detail for the eye to see it. But this blend tool is fantastic. Okay. Now we can hide that. Those eyes. Wait, where are we? There we are. Down. We can see if we come back up, those eyes are the same, the nose is the same, the mouth is the same, and now the eyebrows are the same. We can unhide that. We do want that background one. We'll duplicate that. Duplicate mask layer. That. Only the visible. So merge layer from visible, merge below, blah, 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 flatten layer, merge image. Oh, okay. In Paint Shop Pro, you can select them and you can go, hey, merge these. This one doesn't have that ability. Nope. Be in the right order. There we go. So you can't, I mean, you can, but there's no, there's no merge these layers. So we have to come through and we just go merge below and then merge below. I think that should work. Yep. Okay, that's good. So we take a look at it and we can see that is spot on. We got some ears, nice clean clothing. So that's that. And then you can just go through there and you can sharpen it up. You can do the contrast and do whatever you want. You can fix the hands up a little bit more. So, you know, those hands are different. You can erase the hands out, change them to where you want. Paint that out. It's an easy thing to do there. So how's that? Got some shadowing on that nose side there. Like you can see that nose comes down and it does match through, and then we have some extra shadow on it. I mean, you can warp that nose out if you feel that needs to be wider. So there we go. What else can we do from here? I mean, we could try to put it up and try the word color. This will be very difficult because this is not going to work the way you think it will. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down to line art. So we're line arting this, and we are just going to do a quick render of that. Just going to create that as a line art. So now we have our line art, okay, and it is on that line art for the control. We're going to hide that, and we're going to generate an image based on that line art. And it's at 100%. So we're not going to really get this person. We're going to get something completely different. But sometimes you can get a color image with a lot of detail on it. And if that works, then you can use that and use that as a color layer. And then you can turn this photo into a color photo by doing that. So we'll see how that works today. It's hit and miss. Using these features and using the AI, there's different methods to get the result that you're looking for. But a lot of people think it's straightforward, cut and dry, that you're just clicking it and it's a one-hit render. If you're trying to get the best results possible, it's a tool. And it's a finesse and a fine dance on thinking, well, how can I achieve this? What should I do here? How should I apply this here? What can I do to bring out more details? And like I said, that's the original layer. Having that as a duplicate layer and then bringing that up. It's just trying to render at the moment, so it's having a little bit of a hissy fit on me. So having that up the top like that, and then just simply turning that into an easy burn layer and dropping down the opacity, it brings through a lot of the details of the original image. So that's something to keep in mind. Using the original damaged image over top, you can put back some fine details that you may have been missing before, just by letting it bleed through. This is going to take a little while, obviously because of the whole OBS live recording. So what I might do is just stop this for a moment so I can finish it, and we'll take a look at what the results are. They can be hit and miss. Let's find out. Okay, so we've done a couple of passes. At 100%, it's not the image we want. So you need to reduce the strength of that. And this one here is at 28%, which gave me this image. And we can see the original. So we're not really getting too much color on it. And we have another one there. That's 28% on top of the 28%. We have this one here, which is 20%. We have this one here, which is 50%, but with the reference image. So if we were to use this one here, which is this one here, we could come through and just simply go from normal to color, and that will color our underlying image. So from no color, and you can see that it's adding the color to it. Now, I don't know how to adjust the saturation of a layer. So I looked for that and I couldn't find it in there. So yeah, what I like about PaintShop Pro, well, PaintShop Pro is a little bit more intuitive, but at the same time, Krita has a lot of powerful tools as well. So that's something you can do. Now, I've talked before about manual coloring as well. So, I mean, you can come up and create a layer and you can just go color like that. And then you could come through to your paints, select your paintbrush. You could come down to your palette, find a skin tone that you're happy with. And then you could just simply come up, put it on full, adjust the size to where you're happy. And then you can just come through and actually paint your skin in. So find one that you're happy with. It's like that. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. You can manually color a photo if you want to, and you can see that. You can just go over top of the lips a bit, doesn't really matter. You can go over top of the eyebrows and you can come back through and paint black over top of that to redo them. So manually coloring a photo is not too hard to do in Krita or in Paint Shop Pro or Photoshop, because you've got those layer options where you can turn those layers into a burn-in. And I have a video on manual coloring for Krita, which I did. I've done one on Paint Shop Pro as well. So you can just come through like that and just paint and add your color. And I know what you're saying, geez, that looks a little bit off, but you can just come through and you can just turn that down for your opacity, and then that's off and that's on. And then suddenly you've got a better looking skin tone on your person. And you can come through and you can adjust the brush down. You can do all those fine details and just come through and do the cleanup and spend the time into it. I get told these videos are too long. You can edit them down. I like leaving the full workflow in so you can see what I've gone through to do it from front to end. I find if I drop that out of the video, it's kind of silly. So it is what it is. You can always hit that skip forward button if you want. Okay, those eyebrows actually do work better with the color over top. So you can come through and do the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, we can turn that up again. And we can go to normal. And we can see where we're actually colored there. So now we can just select that up. And then anywhere that we missed, you can just use that as a map, just like that. Color over top of it. So have this weird looking color map. But by doing that, you can also, if I can get my mouse to it, come in, we can come down to the arms and we can paint the arms in as well. So we can very quickly, very easily just map out all of that. Okay. And then we're just going to that layer and we're just turning it into a color layer. And then we're just dropping that translucency or the opacity of that layer down until we're happy. And that is giving us color to our image. And it's as easy as that. You can go as soft, as strong as you want. You can create another one. And you could do the same thing. You can go color. And you can say that background there. If you don't like that background, you can just come through. We can go to our palette. We can select a blue. And then we can just do the entire background as a blue. So it's quick and easy. And then again, you can come through and you can adjust the opacity of that so you get a bleed through and give it that sort of sky tone to it. So where it get that pink coming through of it. It's as easy as that. So all we're doing is you're using AI as an assistant tool to speed up a recovery of a photo, rather than having to go through and do composites and spend more time on it. So you can do something a lot faster with the tool, but you need to know how to use the tool. And that's the key to it. You know, what are you looking at? What are you doing? We can divide this up into two layers. We can say, okay, those arms are too dark. How would we fix that? Well, we could duplicate the layer, and then we could easily come through on this layer here, and we could go erase, and we can erase the arm on this layer, like that. And then on this layer, we can come through and erase the face. Get the lot. Okay. So then we have face. And then we have the arms. So then we can go on the arms and we can go, okay, that's too dark to the rest of the body, and we can lighten it up. And then we can bring that in like that. And we can find that balance between the two on where we want to be. You know, a little bit darker on A, a little bit lighter on B, until we get those tones to where we actually want them to be. Bring that face a bit lighter. Just like that. So it's pretty easy. Depending on the screen you're looking at, it may look darker or it may look perfect. So keep that in mind because I am using a non-accurate Samson here and the color is absolutely beautiful. Over this way, I'm using an AOC where the color appears to be very incorrect and overly dark and overly saturated, which is ironic because it's meant to be a color accurate monitor, but I probably don't have it set up right. So keep that in mind when you're watching this video. It will depend on the monitor that you're actually looking at on for how this actually looks. But I mean, you can see there, we go through and turn all that off, and we turn our original layer back on there, and probably got lost on which layers that I'm actually applying now. That's where I'm visible there. So, and we just build it up layer by layer by layer by layer until we get the image that we're actually happy with. So it's not too hard. There we go. So hopefully you found this helpful. So there it is. That's how to use AI and a method to doing a restoration. It's not as quick and easy as you would think it would be. You have to sort of think methodically of how would I address this issue here? The AI is not doing it. What can I do? You have the option to do multiple layers, which means you can take the best of each image and use those. So as you've seen, erase the eyes, and then that gave me the perfect body, and then do a light render, and then just do the mouth by itself until I finally got to where I wanted to be. And whilst it seemed like a longer process than you'd think, once you get into a rhythm for it, it's very quick and easy to say, okay, this didn't work on this one, but I know I can turn up the strength, I know I can do this, and you can change those little tricks as you go along. So I guess I'll have to do some more restorations. If you want more of this sort of content and see me try it out with other things, let me know in the comments below. Of course, you know, that's just the quick and easy of it. You can go through and you can bring up the sharpness of it, go through, adjust those color tones. You can add skin textures to it by using a textured brush to go through and paint it. And you can work it up a lot more from there. Or if you wanted to, you can transfer that image over to your mobile phone and use something like Remy, which will completely go through and clean up the work that you've done with one click and make it look a million times better. It's the same with coloring it. You can use something like Mint AI, and you can use the color feature of Mint AI to color it if you don't want to go to the rigmarole of manually having to color it. So you can use multiple tools together. A mechanic is only as good as the tools in his toolbox, and we're getting some new tools, which is the AI tool, which is really, really helping out with making the job of doing restorations or doing artwork or doing anything a lot easier. So what makes something artistic is really the time you put into it. Doing a one-click render doesn't work. You can get some good results. I said I do wallpapers that way, and I'll go through and work on my prompt. They still take hours to do because I'm just so fussy. But yeah, I mean, it's a tool in your toolbox. So depending on how you use that tool comes to the results that you get. Hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, like, subscribe, and get the bell on for notifications. Share this video to your social media. It will get more people learning about this sort of method and how to do it, and hopefully that will lead to people joining the Facebook groups for Restore My Photo for free, and lead to more people using this method. I lean to teaching it more this day and age. Can't really sit there day in, day out doing it anymore with the body failing and the arm getting worse. So I'm trying to teach this method to encourage other people to do it, whether it be as a hobby, be as maybe a career that they want to take up, something like that, their own business. I think this is a tool which is worth looking at and learning about. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next Streamtabulous video. Thank you for watching my video and sticking around to the end. If you like my videos, it would really help me out if you could like and subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithm to push my videos out there to more viewers, which in turn helps me and helps everyone. So thank you for watching my video and hanging around to the end, and I will see you in the next video.